Hey there, my name is Amber, and I'm so thrilled that you've made your way to my yoga videos. So, most of these videos I do on Facebook Live first before I post them here on YouTube. So, if you'd like to do them with me live, follow me at Kaleidoscope Yoga on Facebook and on Instagram for dates and times. But in the meantime, grab yourself a mat, some blocks, a blanket, maybe even a bolster, whatever it's going to take to make your practice accessible and comfortable for you, and I'll meet you on the mat. Thanks for being here. So as always, you're just going to try to make yourself as comfortable as possible. So when we take a seat, you can use a block or you can go ahead and use a blanket to rest your bottom on. And this always helps to kind of let the pelvis move forward a little bit. I always feel a little bit more comfortable because my legs are pretty tight. And then you can lengthen up through the spine. So just find this comfortable seat, lengthen up through the spine like I mentioned, relax the shoulders back. Close your eyes if it feels good. If you prefer, you can kind of take your gaze down to the ground. And just allow yourself to come into our space here. And notice how you are feeling in your body at this time. Not 10 minutes ago, not the way you want to feel later on this afternoon, but right at this very moment, how are you feeling? And we do this without holding any judgment. It's just an opportunity to check in, and maybe it's pretty early morning where you're at. Or perhaps it's mid-morning for me. I've been up since about 6:30 this morning, so I've got quite a bit done already today. So I'm kind of welcoming this little break. But maybe if you're just getting ready for the day, you're still feeling a little sleepy. Maybe you haven't stretched out just yet. And just give yourself this opportunity to meet the breath. Taking a couple of nice deep inhales. You can part the lips and sigh it out. Let's do that a few more times. Nice deep inhale. Release. Let's try that one more time. Big breath in. And release. Good. Settle back a little bit more into those sits bones, the little, your bones in your butt. Let those shoulders sink down. So we find a little bit of weight in the arms. And then while we're doing this, we're letting our arms be heavy. We're going to take an inhale and just lift our shoulders towards our ears. Big inhale up, still letting the arms be heavy. Hugging shoulders to ears, and exhale, release. Let's do that again. Inhale, shoulders to ears. And release. One more time. Big breath in, shoulders to ears. And release. So go ahead and just kind of settle in again. And so this time, as we take an inhale, I'd like for you to kind of pull in all the muscles. So kind of contract all the muscles in the body. And it doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to, exert too much energy here. Just like a softening, a soft kind of pulling in of the muscles. So as you inhale, contract gently and release. Inhale, contract the muscles, maybe even a little more this time. And release on the exhale. Let's do that one more time. Big breath in. Contract the muscles. And let it go. So good. Go ahead and release the hands by your side. We're just going to find a gentle flow. We're going to open up the side body. So left hand's going to relax down. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. Right hand's going to come to the sky. Inhale, exhale, reach to the opposite side. Inhale, bring the arm up. And exhale, float it down. So we're going to flow with the breath. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, float to the right. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, release. We're going to do a few more times. Check to make sure you're not holding any tension in the legs as you breathe. Inhale, or you inhale up, and then exhale, stretch it out. Inhale up. And release. Exhale. Breathe it up. Exhale, reach it out, maybe a little more. Let that left hip sink to the floor. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, down. Let's do one more here. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, stretch it out. Find that length in the side body. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, down. Last time this side. Inhale up. And exhale, reach it out. Good. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, down. This time we're going to inhale, bring both hands to the sky. And you're going to exhale, turn to your right. Left hand to the right knee, right hand behind you. Make sure that you're not crunching. We're just waking up the spine at this point. So the movement is not going to be large. And just find your breath. Relax in the legs if you feel like you're holding. If you're trying to draw your knee up a little bit, see if you can release that tension. And then on your next inhale, let's go ahead and draw the hands up. And exhale to your left. Right hand to the knee, left hand behind you. See if you can lengthen just a bit through the spine. And then actually, while we're waiting here this time, I'll invite you to find a little movement in the neck. However that feels to you. Or however that feels good to you, I should say. You can do circles, side to side, looking over each shoulder. And then bring that head back above the heart. And so we're going to do this movement, but we're going to follow it with the breath like we did on the side-to-side movement. So when you're ready, take an inhale, hands are going to come up. And you're going to exhale and let that full breath release as you come to the twist on the right. Inhale, bring it up. And And so we're not moving with the arms, we're moving with our core. Exhale, relax the arms down. Release all the breath. Inhale. And exhale to the other side. Breathe it in, lift the arms up. We're going to rainbow them over to the left. As you float them down, let that breath release. One more time each side, bring it up, big breath in. Exhale to your right. And inhale, last time, bring it up. And exhale to the left. Inhale, hands to the sky. We're going to exhale, bring the palms down to the ground. So if you're feeling tight, you may already feel a little bit of a stretch in the thighs. And we're just going to walk the hands over to our right. Get a little side stretch here. So we want that left hip to anchor down to the floor. And then pressing into the right palm. Let's take a nice deep inhale, and we're going to bring the left hand up. So we find the space through the chest. And now you can bring it back as far as it feels good. And then as you exhale, we're going to float that hand back down. So let's do that twice more. Big inhale up. I'm feeling a lot of popping along my back. Exhale, float it down. Last time, bring it up, opening through the chest. Don't dump into the right shoulder. We're using that hand for support. And exhale, float it down. Let's go ahead and come back to center. And just take a full breath here. Nice deep inhale. And let it go. Good. Let's walk on over to the left side this time. Anchoring down that right hip. Just take a couple of breaths here first, just to kind of get a sense into the feeling of the side stretch here. And then on your next inhale, open up. And you might find this side is a little easier to open up than the other one, or it might be a little harder. No judgment, just noticing. Exhale, float it down. Keep it going for 2 more. Breathe it in, opening through the chest. And float it down on the exhale. One more time, breathe it in and up. And float it down. Come back to center. Once again, go ahead and just find that space to take a full breath. Inhale, exhale. Good. Let's go ahead and come onto our hands and knees, please. And as always, if your knees are a little tender, then resting a blanket on the floor is always going to feel much better. It's going to give you a little bit of relief. So if you have a blanket, you can place the wrists on the blanket as well as the knees, and fingertips can be on the mat. That'll help give a little bit of relief in the wrists if that feels good to you. So wrists under shoulders, knees underneath our hips. Engage in the belly just a little bit, pulling that belly up towards the spine. Let the tailbone just kind of gently roll down. We're not trying to roll it and tuck it, at least not yet. But just a gentle kind of pull down so it's a little lower than neutral. Pressing through the palms so we're not dropping through the chest. And we're lengthening through our spine. So our neck is an extension of the spine. So we're not looking up and we're not dropping the head down. Take a breath here. Release it. On your next inhale, drop the belly down, gaze and hips to the sky. And now, exhaling, drawing the belly towards the spine, we are going to round the tailbone down. Let the neck release, let the shoulders relax. Push up through the palms of the hands so you're lengthening through the arms. And then again, inhaling into cow pose. And exhale into your cat. One more time, big breath in, dropping the belly down. Again, we're just waking up the spine here. Last time, float through your cat. And then come back into a neutral position. So we're going to do some spinal balancing here. Working on the core, also working on the muscles in the back, which help stabilize us. And this is really good. It's kind of a nice brain exercise too, because we're going to do opposite hand, opposite leg. So we want to press whichever hand we're lifting, we're going to press into the palm on the floor so we can activate that arm and steady our balance. Again, we want to hug into the belly. And we're going to kind of roll the elbows kind of in a little bit. So your elbow pits are going to move towards your thumb and pointer finger. Pressing up through the palms, engage the belly. We're going to reach the left leg out first just for sake of getting balanced here. And then when you're ready, and if you want to, you can reach up with the right hand. So we're going to cycle through this with our breath. So take an inhale here. Exhale, float it down. Inhale, lifting leg and arm. And while you're lifting your leg, you are contracting your glutes, so your butt muscles. Hugging them in, reaching through the fingertips, and exhaling, bring it down. This is a nice slow and contracted movement. Hugging the butt muscles in and exhale. Release. Let's do it again. Reach it out. And bring it down on the exhale. Reach it out. And release. Let's do 2 more sets. Nice and slow and controlled. Pressing through the heel or pointing through the toes, whichever feels best to you. Hugging in through the belly. Hugging in the glutes. This is also building strength in our arms. Last set. Good. Relax it down and bring yourself into a child's pose. So go ahead and open up the knees and drop your hips back. Reaching forward with the hands and just relaxing down. If the forehead can reach the mat, you can maybe give it a little kind of side to side movement, massaging the space between the eyes. And as you find your breath here, see if you can locate the back of the rib cage. So when you're breathing in, you can feel your shoulder blades and the ribs kind of spread apart from one another. And then exhaling, you can feel them pulling back towards one another. Take 2 more deep breaths like this. Good. So drawing the hips up, we're going to walk our hands forward and walk our knees together. So we're going to come into puppy pose here. This is a heart opener. Spreading your hands out long. I know you've seen, it's kind of like a version of downward dog, but towards the ground. So pressing into the palms, you're going to let your heart space dip to the earth. And if this is too much on your arms, you can certainly bring your arms down to your forearms and then just let your heart reach to the floor. Hips are above the knees, so we're not dropping into a child's pose.
So we're getting a nice little stretch through the chest, through the arms, through the hips. Two more breaths here. And remember, if something's uncomfortable, you can always shift out. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop the forearms down and we're going to shift ourselves forward. Dropping our belly down to the mat. And we want to come into a space where our elbows are underneath our shoulders. And so this is Sphinx pose. And you can relax the shoulders back. You can gaze forward. If this, let's see, press into the pubic bone just a little bit and hug into the belly. And the tops of the feet can be pressing into the floor as well. If this is too much on your low back, you are welcome to kind of scoot the arms a little bit more forward and drop down a little bit more. But be careful not to just drop the chest towards the floor. We want to be strong through the upper shoulders. So find what suits you. And then once you find this space that feels comfortable, go ahead and kind of nod the head yes. Or sorry, no. So we're going to be looking over each shoulder, just like a woman. Say yes, but I mean no. Say no, but I mean yes. And then bring the head back to center and go ahead and let it drop just a little bit. Pressing into the forearms and locating this nice stretch in the back of the neck. And you can do what I like to call smileys here, which just drawing the chin from shoulder to shoulder across the chest. Good. Go ahead and release the arms here for just a second. Bring the palms to the floor, rest one on top of the other, and then just let your forehead just drop down and kind of relax through the shoulders and the neck here for just a few breaths. Good. So from here, we're going to roll on to whatever side where you can see the video. And you're going to support your head. And we're going to draw our upper leg out in front of us. So reaching back to grab our foot, and if this isn't accessible to you, if you have a strap or something nearby that you can wrap around your foot, that'll help for sure. Your head can be down as well, but we kind of want a nice straight line along the spine. So this is called cattail. So we want our hips to be on top of one another. So if you find that you're leaning forward, see if you can rock your hip back just a little bit so they stack. And then the idea is we want to kind of draw the pelvis forward. And hopefully you'll get a nice stretch in the front of your lower thigh. Taking a couple of breaths here. And you might be feeling a nice little stretch through the low neck and the upper shoulder as well. Take one more breath here, nice and deep. And release. Go ahead and let the foot go. And so we're going to go ahead and come into a seated position real quick here. And I'd invite you again to sit on a blanket. A block would be okay as well. I'm going to sit on a blanket. I'm going to reach my feet out in front of me. Again, I just want an opportunity for my pelvis to kind of dip forward some. So we're going to find some vibrancy in our toes. Move the little fleshy parts out from underneath your bottom if you need to. We're going to find that length in the spine. And so when we activate our toes, more than likely the upper legs are going to activate a little bit too, and that's good. So this is called staff pose. And we can bring our hands down to the ground, lengthen up through the spine as if someone is pulling on the top of our head. And even though it just seems like we're just sitting here in this L shape, we should feel pretty active. Like my legs are actually shaking a little bit. And just find your breath. Take an inhale here. And walk yourself forward with the fingertips just a little. If you can reach your toes, great. If not, that's fine too. Rest your hands on your calves, maybe even at your side. No biggie. We're just trying to get a little stretch through our hamstring here. And this is actually, if you have a strap, this is another great shape to use a strap in if you find that you can't reach your toes. On your next inhale, softly engage in the belly and roll yourself back to your seat. And then we're going to go ahead and switch to the opposite side and do cattail on this side. So just rest yourself long on the mat. Find whatever it takes to help your head feel stable. We're going to reach our upper leg out. Make sure that our hips are even, up and down, they're stacked. And then grab that foot or the ankle if you can. And then once you find this nice line in the body, you're going to kind of roll the pelvis forward just a little bit. And you'll really feel that thigh in the front activate. Hi. Speaking of cattails, take a few more breaths here. Good. Go ahead and release that leg. And then we're going to go ahead and turn onto our bellies, and we're going to take one more child's pose before we go into standing. So go ahead and draw the hips back, reach the fingertips out. Forehead to the ground if that feels good. And if you can't quite make your forehead touch the ground, grab a blanket or a block and rest your forehead on that. Or even a book. Finding the back of the rib cage again. Breathing deeply into that back, feeling those shoulder blades spread away from one another. And then when you're ready, you're going to walk your hands towards you. Turn your toes under and go ahead and come to flat feet and walk yourself into a forward fold. So if you have a block handy, if your hamstrings are feeling tight, you can use a block. That always feels nice. And if the low back is super tight, it's better to find this flat back position than to really kind of lower down and pull on those back muscles. So just finding this forward fold. Let the head relax. You can kind of give it a little yes or no motion if that calls to you, if that feels good. And then from here, we're going to let our left hand rest either on the floor or the block. We're going to take an inhale and reach the right hand up. So your left knee might be bent. The right leg can be straight, and you can kind of get a deeper stretch into that right hip. Take one more breath here. And exhale, bring that right hand down. And inhale, left hand to the sky. It's the same thing. Right knee is going to be bent this time. Left leg is straight. Maybe you can feel a nice little stretch through that left hip here. Good. Nice deep inhale and exhale. Float the hand down. Take another inhale, right hand to the sky. As you exhale, float it down. We're going to find a flow here. Inhale, left hand to the sky. Exhale, float it down. One more time on each side. Right side up on the inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Left side, bring it up. And relax it down. If you have a block, go ahead and move it out of the way. And we're going to bring our hands to the ground. And you can bend your knees if you need to. And we're just going to walk them forward. And we're going to find our downward facing dog. So palms spread on the mat, nice and wide. Finding a nice A-frame shape with your body. Let the inner part of the wrist roll in to help connect with the thumb and point your finger a little bit more. Shoulders can relax down the back. But you're going to roll the arms almost as if you're trying to pinch your nose. So kind of roll them in a little bit and then press through the palms and lengthen. And you can lift up through the hips, pulling the belly in towards the spine, and then go ahead and walk your dog. Feels really good getting into the calf muscles. And then when you're ready, we're going to draw the right foot forward. And if you need to, you can come down onto your knee and draw that right foot forward in that fashion. So we're going to come into a nice low lunge here. If you want to get a deeper stretch through your hip muscle or your hip flexors here, you can always walk that knee back, get a little deeper stretch. Your front knee needs to be above your front ankle. We don't want to dip it forward. If you feel more pressure in your toes, you're putting more pressure in your knees. So most of the weight's in the heel. Come to your fingertips, just lengthen a little bit through the spine. We're going to take an inhale, draw the hands up. So you should feel some activation in the legs, maybe even pulling the legs towards one another to keep that active. Good. So we're going to work on a little twist here. Take a nice deep inhale. As we exhale, arms are going to reach towards either end of the mat. Turn yourself to the right. So it's kind of like, well, it is. It's a modified warrior two. Inhale, drawing the hands back up. The chest comes forward. And we're going to exhale and turn to the left. Hello. Inhale, bring it up. Use that core to stabilize. Exhale to the right. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale to the left. One more time, bring it up. Exhale to the right. Last time, bring it up. Exhale to the left. Hold here. Relax the shoulders. Take an inhale. Right hand's going to come down to the inside of your right foot, and we're just going to reach up with the left hand. So from here, we're going to find some big circles in the arms. Take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, just begin your circle down. And then inhale, float the hand up. Exhale down. Take up as much space as you want or need. One more time. Exhale on the way down. Inhale, bring that up. This time on your exhale down, plant the left hand. And we're going to walk the right foot. We're going to heel toe it to the outer edge of the mat. Let your heel be on the mat. Let your toes come off of your mat. And we're going to turn our back toes under and lift up that back knee. And we're going to come into this lizard pose variation. So there are other variations. If you want to, you can drop your forearms down to the ground. You can drop your knee back down if you want to. It's totally up to you. What I'd like you to find is a little movement in your right knee. So just dipping it out and drawing it back in. And the sole of your foot might come off the ground. You might hear a little bit of popping and cracking. That's fine. Just do this twice more. Just moving the knee away from the body. Good. Dropping that back knee. Let's bring the hips back and find a nice little runner's stretch here. And you may or may not be able to lengthen through the leg. You might find that your knee is bent, and that's fine. You're just tighten your quads, no biggie. Come to where it's comfortable. Lifting the toes to the ceiling. We're going to take a nice deep inhale and lengthen through our spine. And as we exhale, we're going to lower our chin towards our knee. And don't worry about how far you can come down, and I don't want you to push it too much. But we do want to find a nice stretch through your calves, through your hamstrings. Good. Take a few more breaths here, settling into the stretch as best as you can. If you're feeling a tug at your knee, bend the knee just a little bit more. And on your next inhale, using your hands for support, go ahead and walk yourself back forward. And we are going to take a nice deep inhale, coming into our crescent lunge. And exhale, float it down. Go ahead and just take that right leg back and find a little bit of organic movement here in the hips, just side to side movement. And then bring those palms forward just a little bit, turn those toes under, lift up through the hips, find your downward facing dog. Again, go ahead and walk the dog. Notice if the legs feel any differently than they did in our first downward dog. Lifting up through the hips, pressing into the palms of the hands, feeling this really nice stretch through the back muscles. As you make that connection from the fingertips to the hips, and then from the hips all the way to the heels. And then when you're ready, taking an inhale, you can anchor down the right foot and move into a three-legged dog with the left leg, or you can just go ahead and move the left leg forward. Dropping that back knee down. Finding a suitable stretch, whatever feels best in your body. Keeping the front knee above your ankle. And then when you're ready, we're going to take an inhale. We're going to draw the hands up. Relax the shoulders down. Engage the belly softly here. We're going to move into those twists. So taking a nice deep inhale, lengthening through the fingertips. As you exhale, we're going to extend the arms out and twist to your left. Nice deep inhale. Bring it forward. Exhale, twist to the right. And you'll feel, inhale, bring yourself forward. You'll feel a different activation in your leg with each side. It's going to feel a little differently. Inhale back to center. And exhale to the right. Inhale, center, using that core. Exhale to the left. One more time on each side. Inhale up and exhale to the right. Inhale up and exhale to the left. Actually, let's inhale up one last time, and as we exhale, left hand's going to come down, right hand is going to reach up. And we're going to do those big circles here. So taking a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, we're going to float that arm down. Inhale as you float back up. Exhale down. Inhale up. One more time. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, float it up. And then on your exhale, go ahead and bring it down. Heel toe that left foot off to the side of the mat. Toes are off the mat. Heel is on. Find your lizard. Lift up that back knee if you'd like. I'll show you the more advanced shape here if that's something you'd like to try. Bringing the forearms down. I am going to stay here today and just kind of enjoy this movement in my knee. So just rocking it out. Maybe dropping the hips down a little. And you don't have to just do that. You can kind of experiment with a little bit different movement here too. And again, you can drop that back knee if that's going to feel better in your body. And then take a pause and hang out here for a breath or two. And then go ahead, drop that back knee if it's up. And walk that foot back to center. Drop your hip back and find that runner's lunge. Let the shoulders feel relaxed. Point the toe. Kind of get a sense of space, how the stretch feels. And then when you're ready, you can take an inhale. And on your exhale, you can float the knee or the nose towards your knee. And again, just noticing how the knee feels. If you need to, you can bend the leg a little bit more. Really listening to your body here. If you're tight in the back of the legs, this might feel a little difficult. That's okay. Takes a little while for the body to kind of melt into a stretch, so it may feel super tight at first. Let's go ahead and take an inhale and start to walk the leg forward. We're going to turn the toe of the back foot under, lift up that back knee, and draw that back leg forward, finding another forward fold. So finding flat back here, and this could mean hands on the calves. You can put hands on your thighs. If you have hands on your thighs, hug those elbows in, roll the shoulders back. Hands on the calves or lengthening through the crown of the head, separating the sits bones. And you can do that by rotating the thighs inward just a little bit. And when you do that, you'll feel your sits bones go to the corners of the room, and you may feel a little deeper pressure in the big toe and the inner arch of the feet. Taking a few breaths here. Good. Let's bend the knees just a little and come into chair. Fingertips can reach up or they can reach out depending on how you feel in your balance. Usually reaching forward helps a little bit more with the balance. Lifting up, you're going to get a deeper side stretch. So you should be able to see your toes. You should be able to lift them. Your weight is in the heels. Take a nice deep inhale and start to press into the feet. Lift yourself up. Inhale, drop yourself down. Let's exhale up. One more time, big inhale, dropping your booty down. And bring it up. Let your weight come into your left leg. I'm going to shift forward here. Let your weight come into your left leg. You're going to find lots of length through the body here. Stacking from the heel all the way up. Draw that right knee in just a little bit. Go ahead and bring the hands out to your side. Lifting up the right knee, contracting in the belly just a little bit here. Making sure that our hips are not doing this, but we're straight across. You got it. So finding that point of concentration, your drishti, which is going to be 2 or 3 feet in front of you on the floor. All we're going to do from here is stretch that front leg forward, pressing through the sole of the foot. One breath here. Bring it back to center. And we're going to open it up. So when we do this, we're not letting our hips rock to the side. Our hip is in line with our knee. Standing leg, sorry. Good, you got it. So take an inhale, bring that knee in, and on an exhale, we're going to drop the foot to the left. So legs are going to be crossed. Go ahead and release your hands down. Take a nice deep inhale, bring the hands up, and float forward. So hands might come down to the floor, to the calves. Get a nice little stretch through the outer part of the left leg here. So if you're feeling up to it, left hand to the right side of the right leg. Bring your right hand to your low back and just kind of rotate your right shoulder up and back. It's going to be a small movement. Just looking for a gentle twist here. One more breath here. And release that right arm down. Bend into the knees a little bit. Connect to your core and your glutes and roll yourself up. We want to protect that low back. You got it. Whew. Go ahead and release. Shake it out if you need to a little bit. And then let's go ahead and do that on the opposite side. So coming to the right leg, pressing into the foot, and we're stacking all the way up nice and tall. Pressing into the toes, into the heel, draw that left leg in, hug in that belly, and let your tailbone relax just a little bit. Open up the arms, and when you're ready, go ahead and lift that left leg. Find that drishti, that concentration point on the floor. Soften through the shoulders. Press the foot forward. On an inhale, draw that knee back in. Exhale, open it up. You got it. Hold for a breath. On your next inhale, you're going to swing that knee forward. Exhale, place it on the opposite side of the left foot. So it's just, or right foot. So it's just going to cross over. Let your arms relax. Take an inhale, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, float it down. Forward fold. Again, hands to the ground or to the calves. One side's going to feel a little different than the other, so honor that. If you're not quite as flexible on this side, don't try to push your way through. Let your neck relax. And then if you're ready and willing, you can bring right hand to the left side of the left foot. Left arm's going to rest on your low back. And then you're going to open up just a little through that left shoulder. One more breath here. And float the hands down. This time, bend into the knees, bring the hands to the ground, unfold the legs, and just find a forward fold. Go ahead and bend into the knees, bring them down to the ground. We're going to go ahead and flip onto our backs. You can draw the knees into the chest, find a gentle rock from side to side. And then when you're ready, go ahead and release one leg and then the other. And then take a nice deep stretch, reaching the fingertips above the head, pointing the toes. One last time, contracting all the muscles. And releasing on an exhale. Finding your final resting pose. If your low back feels a little stiff, you can put a blanket or a bolster underneath your knees. You're welcome to place a blanket underneath your head. Arms can be at your side. They can rest on your belly. Find a nice, comfortable position where you can take a few moments of rest and let your body absorb all of the wonderful things that you've done with it in the last hour. Softening in the breath, relaxing all the back muscles, softening in the face, releasing any tension in the knees. to find a deeper breath in the belly. You can start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Rolling to one side, taking a few breaths. So kind of curl up in a nice little fetal position if you'd like. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bring yourself back into an upright seated position. Drawing the hands to heart space. Thank you so much for being here today. Namaste.